Everybody, and welcome to the Kryptonite Show. Your host, Superman, in the house, and we are having a blast here. The markets are up and down. They're up and down, up one day, down another. Of course, after yesterday's record move, we saw a bit of a retrace today, of course, with President Trump slapping uh, President Xi in China with 145% tariff altogether. That's the total amount. It's crazy out there. But of course, Trump has been extremely successful with isolating China. And of course, a couple other countries are also starting to capitulate. Looks like China is in the backstory. There is trying to do some form of negotiation, but do it in a way that they can hold their head high, as it were. So that's kind of where we are. So up and down, and of course, I've talked about it being the circle of volatility in previous shows. It certainly is a circle of volatility, and it's something that we're getting used to. So we're going to get into President Trump's response today at the cabinet meeting, and man, what a change! What a change for America! Transparency, actually having open cabinet meetings, giving great summaries from each person. It is pretty amazing. So yeah, this is real leadership. It's absolutely pleased. So masterclass in strategy, the art of the deal. And of course, in the midst of chaos, bring towards the outcomes that they want, which is pretty amazing. And it looks like all the countries have got in a row, haven't they? Which is pretty incredible. So it's going to be a lot of fun to talk about it. Hope you guys enjoy it. If you're over on Rumble, I've actually put the Rumble in the finance category today under for politics. So instead of crypto, we're just testing that out to see how the algorithm works over there and the audience. So hopefully, if you're in the new category there, let us know, because yeah, we're sitting in the old finance category rather than crypto today, and just seeing how that goes there. Now, the other thing, of course, don't forget to smash the follow and repost as well. Share it around over on Rumble, and if you're on YouTube, share it around. Smash the subscribe button, and if you're on X, if you're watching live on X at the moment, definitely get out there and spread the word. Right, spread the word, and we're just going to repost it as well. To make sure that everybody is getting that. So definitely, if you're on X, share that around. That's all I can say. All right, so let's move on up and get into the details of the markets. And a big welcome to some people first, I guess. Let's go. We've got Property View in the house there. Big shout out to you. Gulf of America. I like that. Very cool. Sup, folks? We've got Brian in the house. Good to see you. Sup, folks? Good to see you. Hedgehog as well. Woo, getting excited. You've got to be excited, that's for sure. And we got Than in the house there. No more Hex Token. No, we've had a rebrand. We all know Hex doesn't have real yield, says Than. Well, it got inflation, so it's got that. And of course, the yield, I guess, depends on how you define that. It's certainly been cut back from 7.5 down to 1.5. But the scarcity of it, Than, is actually increased dramatically from an inflation point of view. So that is going to give people good yield moving forward. We've got Sunlight in house there. When does Paul Atkins take position as the secretary chair? Now, I'm not actually sure the date, but I know that he won it yesterday. I'm not sure how long it takes for him to get into office, but probably a few weeks is my guess. But good question. I'll have a look into that. Thanks, Sunlight there. All right, let's get into the mix and check out Donald Trump. We're going to look at seeing how that's going with the latest update. So we're going to talk about that too. But let's get into it without further ado. Let me see here. We're going to switch view, and let me see. We're going to get that going, and here we go, folks. We're going to get into the news. Bam! There we go. And of course, the S&P 500 claws back some gains from Wednesday. Wednesday's melt up. They call it a melt up. It was like a rocket for sure. Elon Musk would have been proud with that stock market move. But we've got the markets down because of the Trump tariffs on China in response to their, instead of negotiating, which is what Trump was pressuring people to do with the falling market and also with the tariffs. So that combination put a lot of pressure onto countries, and they all got in line. They say well over 75 countries, but there's more and more countries flocking in as they speak. And I think, what is there, about 192, 196 countries, somewhere in that ballpark. I think it's 196. It depends on which website you log on. But yeah, that's kind of that's the number, and so that's a huge number, right? So most of the significant countries, of course, there are a few outliers like Vietnam in place, but I think they're probably all all end up making deals. So yeah, pretty clever Trump, man. And of course, his economic advisors, Besant, there doing a great job. Now we've got the Dow Jones down 2.5%. We got at 39,593. That's down 1,000 points. Can you believe it? Up 3,000, down 1,000. We got S&P 500 is up down 3.5%, 188 points to 5,268. And the Nasdaq, with all the tech companies in it, down 4.3%, 737 points, down to 16,387. Now we got a little chart on the right there, and you can actually see the chart. So we're going to have a look at the Dow Jones. You can see we're all the way up here, almost 41,000. Came all the way down here, 37,400. And what a choppy week that's been. Is that crazy? That is crazy time. And then we were back over 40 yesterday, back down today, about halfway down today from what we had yesterday. So then we had the S&P 500. You can kind of see that chart there. That's actually looking a bit better, actually, over the last week. And, we're actually about where we started. So there we go. Not too bad there. And the Nasdaq with all the tech companies, man, look at that. So we're actually higher than we were back on the 3rd, and we came all the way down to about 15,100. We're back at 16,387. So there we go. The US dollar is down, though. Look at that. Woo-hoo-hoo. Down almost 0.5%, and down at 100.27. We haven't seen that close for a long time. It's been ranging between 102, 108. And a weaker US dollar means it's more competitive, but means that inflation is more inflationary for people, right, generally speaking, because their purchasing power is less in the US. So that's going to be interesting to see where that goes. There is the argument that Trump wants cheaper exchange rates for competitiveness, but of course that also increases imported inflation, as they call it. So we shall see where that lands. Obviously, he still wants to protect the reserve currency at the same time. So that's why he's getting everyone to sign up for USA. And look, that's great news. Great news for us because the alternatives are worse. And I'm not saying worse in the sense because Trump's actually awesome and good, leading us back to freedom, back to what made the West great. And because everyone else is pulling us down to the tyranny, right? And it was very subtle tyranny for sure. And so let's move into the commentary. We got the White House confirmed Thursday that tariffs imposed on Chinese imports now stands at 145%. The update comes a day after Trump announced on Truth Social that China was facing 125% reciprocal tariffs or levies on retaliatory I don't know what levies, reciprocal tariffs for retaliatory against the U.S. tariffs. I don't know how they wrote that, but anyway, the higher tariffs on China soured the sentiment on stocks a day after Trump announced his reciprocal levies that he I don't know who wrote this. No spell check on this one. Reciprocal levies would drop on to 10% for countries that hadn't retaliated against April the 2nd Liberation Day tariffs. China had hiked tariffs on U.S. imports to 84%. From 34% on Wednesday in retaliation to Trump's first increase of U.S. tariffs. And these duties came into effect on earlier Thursday. China's Commerce Ministry said on Thursday that China is open to dialogue. And this is what Trump's been talking about, right, with the U.S. But this must be on a basis of mutual respect and equality. Pressure. Well, the thing is, the problem with this respect and equality, China often will agree to something and then not do it. They'll also only do so much and then not go far enough, right? So they don't really address the issue. So this is why Trump is taking a very aggressive approach. Pressure, threats, and blackmail are not the right way to deal with China, because if you do deal with them in a nice way, like I said, they either don't deliver or they only deliver 50%, or they won't actually address the true underlying issues. So that's kind of where that's going. Told a regular press briefing that when asked about whether the world's two economies have started tariff negotiations, China will follow through to the end if the US insists on its own way. Investors worried that the trade spat between the two largest economies in the world could easily result in global recession. Goldman Sachs has cut the growth forecast for China, now expecting Asian giants' real GDP to grow to 4% in 2025 and 3.5% in 2026, down from its previous forecast of 4.5 and 4%. Now, their real GDP is probably, and I'm not talking about inflation adjusted, their actual GDP is probably close to 1%. That's probably where they're actually at. So they're actually a little bit in trouble there. And of course, you guys know that President Xi general has disappeared. His general that he put into power to keep check on the military command has disappeared and hasn't been seen for some time. So there is obviously a fraction there between the President Xi's power and the military, right? And this is some of the chaos that's going on, and so maybe the military is running its own agenda as well. So this could, open up things like possibly the military flotilla that went around Australia, or any surprise decision to take power of government or take Taiwan. There's all sorts of wild cards going on there at the moment in China. So it's definitely of concern. Now, that's kind of where we are. Now, we had good news. We had good news. The CPI data, Consumer Price Index. This is kind of one of the two main measures of retail inflation, the other one being PCE, which the Federal Reserve prefers because it has a broader measure of inflation. Data released on Thursday showed that US consumer prices increased by less than anticipated in March on an annualized basis. The actual decline month on month, the Consumer Price Index rose by 2.4% in the 12 months through March, after moving up by 2.8% in February. On a monthly basis, the February decreased by 0.1% compared to a previous uptick of 0.2%. Economists had expected readings of plus 2.5%, so getting 2.4 was good news, and 0.1% on the month. Now, the one thing I'll say about this is just the annualized one, but of course it's not accumulated inflation. So accumulated inflation year after year after year, and that's what was really hurting people. But on the good hand, on the good news is that it is slowing down. So the aggregated rate of inflation is slowing down. So that's kind of the good news, but it still doesn't help a lot of people that have had to deal with accumulated inflation and trying to buy common goods at home just to feed your family and things like that. So while these figures would point to weakening inflationary pressures and thus the need for the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates again, and this is what Trump wants as well, right? He wants cheaper oil and energy prices, and he also wants cheaper interest rates, right, for money. A cheaper interest for money, then you've got more risk on, and you've got possibly just a much cheaper budget for people, so people are going to win across the board, right? And also businesses, of course. Analysts have been at pains to point out that they cover a period before implementation and eventual delay of President Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs. Now, the one thing I want to say about interest rates as well is that the lower the interest rates are, Trump, I told you one of Trump's strategies, which is I've did a video on the what I call the three-legged stool strategy, which is basically one of those legs is to shift shrink the government, massively shrink the government, and then shift those workers and focus over into the private sector to boom the private sector, expand the private sector, right? And so obviously getting interest rates lower is very important for finance and for entrepreneurial activities. And that's a win-win across the board for the United States, as it will use money, get loans to build some of the amazing things that Trump wants to build to make the golden age of America. So that's kind of the backdrop there. Big thing, of course, they're also going to be dealing with regulation. That's the second leg of the three-legged stool, and of course that is going to be affecting not only business regulations but also the financial system as well, changing things like leverage that banks hold and things like that. So it's going to be, this is all heading in the right direction to boom the United States. Is pretty much it. All right, so that is kind of where we are with that. Now let's go look at oil prices before we move on to crypto. And we've got West Texas at $59, under $60. Isn't that amazing? Let's look at the last year for oil. Look at that last year for oil. We were up a year ago. We were up $84.86. Isn't that incredible? And that's under the Biden presidency. Now under Trump, we're down at below $60. Honestly, the guy's a mastermind. Him and his team. He's got a bunch of superheroes in his team, and they are masterminds. I mean, look at that. That's facts speak louder than anything. And look at that thing. That's incredible. So well done there for Trump. And you can see it just absolutely collapsing down there. Pretty crazy, right? Pretty crazy stuff. So very, very cool. And you can see since the 15th of January, it's just really started to plummet. Pretty crazy. All right. So that is kind of neat there. And what else we got going? Gold at 3,200. Man, if this is just record-setting times at the moment. Gold at 3,210. Remember, Goldman Sachs had a target of 3,500. And silver there at $31. So if you've got gold and silver, congratulations, because you're doing well. And if you're in crypto as well, it's going to be a huge bull run coming up. It's going to be so much fun. So enjoy the ride. All right, so that is kind of where we are at the moment on that. Now we're going to get into, of course, we're going to get into the crypto market. So let's do that as well. and bring that up. So bam, there we go. We're going to do move her alone though. We're going to scroll this up and make it a bit bigger. So let's get into that. And go. Oh, I'm using some fancy things behind here. I'm just getting used to using them. All right, so this is where we are on the cryptos. So obviously crypto pulled back as well, 3.4%. We're down just below 80K. We're at $79,700. The Bitcoin dominance is at 61.14%. As a reminder, into 2021 bull market, we got up to 70% before we had altcoin season. I don't know if we're going to, history kind of rhymes, as everyone says. But I just don't know if we're going to get that high before we get altcoin season. So let's see where we go. And the reasons for that is that we've got way more coins. We got way more maturity in crypto, way more technology since 21. And so we'll see whether how close that aligns. Now, obviously, financial system dominates all the things I just said before, the things I just listed. But it's going to be interesting to see how high it gets before we really get that altcoin season. It could very well trickle up to that 70% before we have that big altcoin season. So we shall see. Anyway, so that's kind of where we are there. Now, I did have a video on Trump, so let's get back to that and play Trump's response here to these markets that we've got at the moment.
Mr. President, can you give us a reaction to today's stock market drop and also give us a sense of the next steps with China?
Well, I haven't seen it because I've been here for 2.5 hours, so I'll be seeing it. I think Scott went out. Scott, you want to have a statement on that?
Sure. Look, the up 2, down 1 is not a bad ratio, or up 10, down 5. And I think as we have talked about, as we go through the queue and settle with these countries who are going to bring us their best offers, we will end up in a place of great certainty over the next 90 days on tariffs. But we had very good inflation numbers today. Oil's down. We had a successful bond market, so I don't see anything unusual today.
And next steps for China, sir?
Well, we'll see what happens with China. We would love to be able to work a deal. They've really taken advantage of our country for a long period of time. They've ripped us off beyond nobody. How people stood for it, sitting in my position, is not even believable. And we're talking about many presidents, not just a couple. But they did, and all we're doing is putting it back in shape. We're resetting the table. And I'm sure that we'll be able to get along very well. I have great respect for President Xi. He's been, in a true sense, he's been a friend of mine for a long period of time. And I think that we'll end up working out something that's very good for both countries. I look forward to it.
Mr. President.
So there's President Trump's response at the moment. So, they've got last man standing almost. They've got maybe 4 or 5 countries, fairly large countries, and it looks like they're moving them all into making a deal. So I don't think it's going to be too long before that's all said and done. As you heard the Secretary also say that 90 days to do the negotiations. So we have a time frame, right? We have through to pretty much the end of June. We want to get all the things done by 4th of July. And of course, that includes the tax bill that's going through the United States Congress, and of course, getting all that done. Obviously, we had some hiccup there with a few GOPers resistance, but that looks just on rules-based issues, and so everything looks like it's going forward. So we've got this very key parts of a strategy. So going through. So that first one is the first leg of the stool, the tax. The third one is the tariffs. That's the third leg of the pull, and it's all heading towards a timeline of pretty much within 90 days. They want to get this all done and dusted. This first sort of 5 to 6 months of the presidency will lay the foundation for the golden age of America, and these guys are putting it in place. So let's say it takes 5.5 months. So we have a timeline, we have a strategy, we know what's happening, and so far we're seeing incredible results. All the countries lining up by America's new world order that Trump is creating, and then also we're getting energy prices dropping, and so it's going to be pretty incredible there. So it's getting pretty exciting. Everything is going to plan. So the one thing you have got to do is not listen to mainstream media, because they don't know what the hell they're doing, and they're the same people that tried to destroy the West and are still trying to destroy the West. So it's great news to have Trump bring back greatness and freedom and equality and security and prosperity. It is a wonderful thing, and we should enjoy it. And it's going to make it easy to stand up for those things too. All right, so that's kind of cool. Let's get back into the rest of it on the markets. There we've got XRP at $1.96, down 3.3%. Ethereum, they're still struggling quite a bit, down 8% at $1,500. Pick up some while you can, they say. And of course, Tron there, down 1% at 23 cents. Solana down 4.5% at $113. ADA down 3% at 61 cents. Those kind of your majors. BNB is almost flat at $579. Now, the one I wanted to pull out here is Pi Network. That is at 59 cents, down 1.7%. Now, the funny thing about that is Randy Alaska, as you know, another big influencer in the Pulsechain ecosystem, big shout out to him, was back in the day. That's how long he's been around, and we're back then too. And of course, Pi Network there, he said something like he had 400 referrals on that, so that's it must have quite a lot of Pi, especially if they've KYC'd themselves, which is the horrendous part of Pi Network. It's a terrible thing. So yeah, that is going to be launching. He's pretty bullish about where that's going to head. We shall see how it goes. Obviously, they're building a lot of stuff there. 60 million pioneers. They might, like I say, they might have between 10 and 20 million that are still engaged. Possibly that's the high end. Certainly have confidence that they have at least 1.5 million or so. Let's see where they go from there. And of course, building up that network. So it's going to be interesting on the old Pi Network. There could be quite a big pickup. And let's see if it can do a run during this bull market ahead on the old Pi there. Pull back quite a bit there at 59 cents, but still holding. Seems to have found a floor there for the time being. So that is the Pi Network there. All right. So let's get into the rest of things and talk about that. And let's go into the next section. So we're going to get into the crypto market altogether. 2.62 trillion. That's really moving about in wild swings. We're down 5.8% today. And let's have a look at the tops there. We've got Bitcoin number 1, Ethereum number 2, XRP number 3, BNB number 4, Solana number 7, Doge number 8, Tron number 9, and Cardano or ADA there is Cardano. Just shows you the accent, doesn't it? New Zealand accent there. 10 is number 10 there. And you can see kind of the percentages. Probably the worst performer has been Ethereum there in the top 10, down 8%. So really getting slammed and down 15.8% for the week. That is really, really out of the top 10, really getting slammed there. So maybe a really good pickup there on old ETH at the moment. Yeah, that's kind of where we are. Now, let's have a quick look at the best performer in the last 24 hours in the top 100. Well, it looks like Curve DAO. Hyperliquid is also doing well. I think that was doing well yesterday. And we got Tether Gold. Those seem to be the top 3 at the moment in the last 24 hours in the top 100. And the top ones in the last week is Fartcoin. Everyone likes a bit of a joke there. Up 82% on Fartcoin. Can you believe it? Wow. Hyperliquid also in the top 3 there too. Up 22.8% for the last 27 days. And finally, OKB is up 15% there as well in the last. So those are your top 3 there at the moment. So guys, kind of shows where the market is pricing and value in the top 100 tokens on the planet. Let's jump over to Bitcoin and zoom in on that. Oh, look at that. Oh, ho, ho. We've got the circle of volatility, and it's time to change view here. Let's get into the mix here. Look at that. Wow. The circle of volatility playing out like a boss, unfortunately. Unfortunately, they say. But we know it's going to, a bit of pain before the gain. They say a bit of pain for the gain. Now, it's a really, really conflicting thing. So on one hand, for those that are informed, let's say, Trump is doing the right thing, right? He's doing all the right things. And this is, we only saw 2 big changes in the 20th century for the world order. That was the Bretton Woods in the 1940s, and of course the Reagan in the 1980s. Those were the 2 big shifts. And of course, the big pushback in the 20th century was against, we had huge things against Nazism, and actually we had 4. Actually, if you go back to World War I, we even had obviously the old empires fighting each other in Europe. So we had that going on. Then we had the Nazis in the Nazis, and I guess the samurai as well, you might want to say, at World War II. And then we had we had the communism and socialism rising up after that. and we had to deal with that for another 30 years or so. And then, of course, we ended up having a rejig with Reagan fixing things up in the 80s. And then once we got to turn to 2000, man, things started changing we started getting the seeds of progressivism, and all based on socialism and globalism, right? With these insidious agendas to destroy the West and remake it in the vision of hell, some form of hell, and make everyone forced to live in it, which is not cool. And that's kind of where we got today. So between 2000 and 2025, you can thank the socialists, Marxists, and the globalists for destroying the West. And now we've got Trump coming in to re-put things right again. He dodged a bullet by what, a millimeter? I don't know. It was pretty small, centimeter maybe. And of course, from death, and maybe as many, like I think, had the hand of God on him, and is here to give us a window of opportunity as well. So we shall see what happens there. But the return of the West to greatness looks very exciting. And now we have the circle of volatility. This is the short-term price to pay for long-term mad gains in the golden era of America, which will also benefit the rest of the world, right? Where the world will be safer, more prosperous, and people will be very happy. And it's the worst thing you could possibly have is going out into the streets and not being able to feel safe in your own community. So, and he is trying to fix that up. And so let's see where it goes. Pretty cool. Now we've got, unfortunately, we've got this death cross looming. Look at that. See, we've got the death cross looming there, and we've got the 200-day in orange at 85,000, the 50-day at 85,486. They have converged. And remember, we had the 50-day all the way up towards 99,000 US dollars back here on the 3rd of February, and now it's come down here about $13,000, and here we are about to cross. Now we've been in a golden cross. This would be a death cross when it crosses, and it kind of looks like inevitably it's going to cross. Now it may not last very long, as I say. We had a little touch back here on the 15th of September, and we managed to avoid that. So even if it does cross, we may very well have a cross up. It will really depend on a lot of our negotiations going with China in particular. And so let's see how we get out the other side here. Now, inflation was good news, so that's kind of good. But things will have to settle down. We'll have to see some wins there with China, and of course the implementation and progress of these negotiations going forward in the next 90 days. So if we look out here, we've got through to let me see here. We're going to go first, and we'll go all the way out to the 4th of July, right? So 4th of July. Now, if I remember rightly, 4th of July this year is like no other 4th of July, right? It's not like no other 4th of July. What's special about the 4th of July? Let me know in the chat there if you know what is special about the 4th of July. So that's special about this particular year. Let us know in the chat there. Let's see if anyone's got any comments. We've got a couple of people in here. We've got Craig Pittenhouse. Morning all. Good to see you, Craig. Tech is hard, says Wookie. Sunlight says Gensler took the position on 17th of April, 2021. Same as for Atkins. Okay, cool. That's very good insight. Appreciate that, Sunlight. That sounds about right then. Maybe both Fed cut interest rates and Atkins takes positions in 2 weeks. Could be very likely there. So I'm expecting the Fed to change their positions, unless, of course, they're Democrat controlled independents, so to speak. We shall see. But the good insights there from Sunlight. I would think Wookie wrote at Boston. Did he? Only if it has a spec to talk, says Wookie. And we got Property Review says good economics. Hey, thanks for that, Property Review. Big shout out to you. Hope you're doing well out there. Now, so what is it? No one's put it in there. Okay, so I believe it's the 250 years. What's that since? Was it the U.S. independence? I think that's right. So the fourth one on the 4th of July. So imagine Trump dealing with all these the tariffs and the new world order with trade relations, free trade, fair trade, all that good stuff, and also getting the tax done with the tax extensions. Then we could see on maybe a couple of days on the 7th there, Monday the 7th, we could see Trump doing a big hurrah. Look, we've laid the foundations of the new golden age of America, and it's done. We did it. We've got Leg 1 and Leg 2 in place. Leg 1 and Leg 3 in place. Leg 2 is regulations, of course. So Leg 1 is, of course, dealing with the U.S. budget deficit. And just to ramble a few of those stats, we've got 5.5 trillion in income for the federal budget. We got about 7.5 trillion for the expenses, and so therefore the deficit's about $2 trillion. $1 trillion is in interest payments. And so the US is in big trouble from that point of view. And of course, that is also adding to the national debt, which is about $37 trillion. So US is in big trouble. Trump is trying to save it and deal with it, not only get to balanced budgets, but potentially into surplus. And of course, to do that, he needs to lower costs. He needs to raise tariff revenue for a period of time. And he also needs to get growth up over 3 to 4% real growth. So it's a big ask. But of course, it can be done. And we haven't seen those sort of growth rates since about 1940s, 1950s. And so Trump is the man to do it. And therefore, he's pulling the whole US balance sheet and he's going to leverage it all to get huge high growth rates and usher in the golden age of America while building. And it's going to be pretty glorious. So the big picture is pretty cool. Deal with the federal budget, leg number one. Leg number two, deal with regulations, both business and financial, to accelerate the growth of the US economy. And that also includes getting oil prices and interest rates down, all the inputs into the economy. You got to get those down. And then, of course, number three is reordering the world trade system. And he's doing that. And he's going to lay those foundations for leg 1, 2, and 3 in this next 3 months. So that is pretty awesome. And that's what Bessent's been saying. So that is the secret sauce, folks. And you heard it here. So there we go. If you watched the full video that I did the other day, check it out. And of course, countries are being lined between friends, enemies, and frenemies, and neutrals. They're pretty much it. So red light, what's it? Red light disco or something. I don't know. But that's kind of where we are at the moment on that. So let's see how we go. And we should rally out of that into altcoin season. We get interest rate cuts, and we might also see monetary printing and risk on, and therefore we're going to get this big bull market that we're expecting for crypto. It's going to be glorious, and everything will be forgotten except for those that accidentally fell off the boat or something. All right, so Michael Saylor there, he's got some good advice. Bitcoin is the best idea. There is no second best, says Michael Saylor. So that's from Michael Saylor himself. And of course, he controls about half a million Bitcoin. Given that there's only 19.8 million Bitcoin in existence, there's ever going to only be 21 million. The last bit coming out in 2141. And maybe 2 million or so Bitcoin is lost. So, and 1 million in Satoshi's wallet. That means that all the institutions in sovereign states have to buy Bitcoin. Where they're going to buy it from? Well, they're going to buy it from all the crypto bros, and all the crypto girls out there that have accumulated Bitcoin. So it's going to be pretty awesome to see that go on as well. And of course, Michael Saylor, how much has he predicted in his 20-year model? Well, he's predicted that Bitcoin will be worth $30 million by 2045. So he's pretty bullish on that, isn't he? He's pretty bullish on that. Pretty exciting indeed. All right, let's get back into it. We're going to go into the SEC. Of course, we got more good news coming out from Trump. New SEC issues new guidance for crypto assets, registration and reporting. New SEC guidance details expectations of crypto asset offerings, focusing on transparency and operation risk and technical aspects. So moving away from lawfare and on to actual governance, right? So this is really cool to see. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission's Division of Corporate Finance released new staff news on April the 10th, outlining how federal securities law applied to registration and offerings of crypto-related securities. The statement covers a range of topics, including how companies should present information about their business operations, token design, governance, technical specifications, and financial reporting. While it does not create new regulations, very important there, the document reflects the SEC staff's current expectations for how firms should prepare their filings. It also indicates a more open approach to crypto regulation under a new leadership. So the key things there: clearer direction for registrants, and of course the other one there, disclosure requirements. So that is the latest there from the SEC. So very, very cool stuff to see that. So some of the findings apparently may include forms such as the Form S1 for public offerings, Form 10 for reporting companies, and Form 20F for foreign issuers, and Form 1A for Regulation A exemption. So there we go. And so people can put all those details there for the project. Now, obviously in DeFi, that doesn't probably not going to happen, but for anybody doing kind of public ones with through the legal system there, that will be what they'll be doing. So there we go. So not bad. All right, so we've got Brian in the house. Says the question is, what will a dollar be worth in 2045? Will there still be dollars? That's true, and we'll certainly have a lot of inflation there. Well, maybe the US dollar will be backed on digital gold. And what's the digital gold? Crypto, right? Crypto. I mean, Bitcoin. Bitcoin. It's Bitcoin. All right, so we got the Pulsechain results. Here we did it. We did it, folks. 700 days. Woohoo! 700 days. We did it. We lasted. We are the keepers here as well. And as you guys know, I've streamed virtually every day, every single day since I started streaming. I think I was streaming. I don't know. I'm just trying to remember. Was I streaming during the AA lobby for at the beginning or before? I think I was. I think I was streaming back then. And of course, streaming through AA lobby, day one AA lobby. Was at a billion tokens up for grabs for Hex. I think we got something like 21,000 ETH, if I remember rightly. It was crazy times. And of course, then we had to run through, 350 days, 351 days, something like that for the AA lobby. Crazy times. And here, then after that, we ended up having, the bull market in 21, Hex being one of the top 4 coins to rally. It was a pretty glorious. We had the big payday back, the 19th of November, I think it was, 2020, I should say. It was pretty crazy. We had the God Mode candle. What was that? About April 2020. So we had a lot of cool events. And then, of course, after that, we had Richard talked about, Pulsechain. And because of the ETH gas fees and things like that, we had Pulsechain and Pulsex. We had a big sacrifices, right? $1.1 billion. Pretty crazy times. And, of course, so a lot of our influencers blew up big time on the back of that. People like Crypto Coffee and stuff like that. Hexologists get bigger, things like that. And then we get up to, the 10th of May. We finally get to the launch after a long, long time. It was 2 years or something. And 10th of May, 2023. And we get the fork, the actual fork of Ethereum. Was very exciting. And then 3 days later, on the 13th of May, we had the launch of Pulsechain. It was so exciting. And then we had the AMM bot operating. We got all the harvesting going on. That was a lot controversial, of course, but that's where we are today. As one of the trademarks of Richard Hart's tokenomics is controlling most of the supply, but like the Federal Reserve, or is it the banks? Is it the big banks? And then of course we have acting as regulators, right? We have those coins and entities acting as regulators, and of course we recently saw that with the control of the Master Chef contract for Pulsex. And of course, we also see it with and the incentive token inflation getting cut 20x. We also see it with the OA sacrifice wallets, mining a lot of Hex and therefore lowering the rates from 7.5 down to 1.5 Hex. So we've seen a lot of stuff happening and all this time. This is what we've seen since Richard Hart sort of founded that, all the way back when he did his first videos with his top hats. And here we are today, 700 days of Pulsechain. Isn't it incredible? Pretty crazy time. So we got the price at the moment, quadruple 0229, down 2.13% there. So we're in the buyer zone. We're in the capitulation event. That's what everyone's asking. Have we finally reached that bottom? And is it all the way up there? Now, I think I saw a video. You can get me wrong. I think I saw a video of Moon King. Obviously, I think the biggest Pulsechain related influencer that sort of covers on a regular basis is probably Moon King. I think he's got 109,000 followers on X. I don't think he does any YouTube stuff or that. He does videos, but I'm not sure if he's got his own channel. You can let me know if he does. But he apparently was talking about shutting down all the socials or something if Pulsechain doesn't do 100x from here or something like that. So I thought that just came out today. I saw that on video. I'm pretty sure it was today. I didn't get to check the original video, but that was kind of interesting. So it looks like people are bullish about where we might head from here. And have we received? Is it the final one? Final capitulation event. Now like I say, we've probably had about 20 black swan events, 10 gray swan events. Pulsechain has been through the toughness, and we know that Richard's changed the inflation on both Pulsex, the incentive token, and obviously on Hex. We know that he's put out pump tires. We know that the liquidity's thinned out. So yeah, we can go down real fast like we have recently, but we have managed to start rebounding a bit. We're obviously facing the volatility of the trade wars. But man, does this mean that we're going to have, after all that pain and suffering, that toughening of spirit, the toughening of character, is Pulsechain going to rally to the moon 100x like Moon King is saying? And of course, game on, big price targets. And I feel that is going to happen too. That's going to happen. So very exciting to see that. Now we've got Pulse at the moment, quadruple 0195, down 3.4%. We got the buy and burn at 1.37 trillion. That is as well. And then we've got the incentive token, $1.14, down 5.5%. We've got the inflation there at 55 million. Remember, that's cut down. I think we're only doing, what I say yesterday, about 2,600 ink a day. It's 0.03 ink per second. So you can do the math there. You can diarize that. You can but I think it's 2,600 ink, which is nothing on 55 million. So it has really been cut dramatically. We've got Hex there at the moment at half a penny. 5400th of a penny, down 1%. So Hex holding up really well. In fact, Hex was looking a little bit bullish yesterday when I turned in for the evening. We've got EHEX at the moment, 1400th of a penny. Combined price EX and PX at 6700th of a penny. And I just want to say congratulations, 700 days of Pulsechain. And of course, the biggest airdrop at the time, full system stake copy of Ethereum. And, we've got faster block times. And although sometimes it doesn't seem it. And as Richard Hart said, as a chain gets more valuable, now whatever that value is, right, you can decide whether it's crap value or good value. Or as it gets more valuable with activity, the chain will get more expensive. And what have we seen? We have seen that happen. We've seen the chain getting more expensive for various reasons, some good, some bad, depending on the protocols or bots or whatever is running. But it has definitely got more expensive on the chain. And we can see that through the gas prices. The gas prices at 5.3 million beats. Do you guys remember? We were sitting around 300,000 beats, and we were sitting there most of the time, but not much was happening with the chain. And now we've been having lots of very, very big spiky gas prices. You can see it in the chart. And at the moment, we're at 3.5 million, and it's 4 cents to do a Pulsechain swap. Right before, it was under a penny all the time. Now it's and sometimes a fraction of a penny. Now it's at 4 cents, and we're seeing that a lot more regular, right? So it's early signs of a more valuable chain, in addition to all those fundamentals that Richard Hart's changed on the chain there. And of course, Richard Hart will always cite his famous law, Hart's law, and of course the fact that Pulsex is a V2 pool based on the X times Y equals K formula for Uniswap. And of course, that means that as it goes up at a square and down at a square, and therefore as you buy, it goes up at a faster rate. And so this is where the fundamentals come from, right? And you only need, if you've thinned out the liquidity pools, you need a lot less capital to start moving that in the right direction. And of course, starting in and getting some uptrend momentum and parabolics. And once it starts running, it creates a frenzy, right? Just like we have a frenzy on the way down, where people are selling over each other to get out. And maybe we also have a frenzy on the way back up, where people are buying over the top of each other because they realize, oh man, I could have got 10 times more coins down there, and now I'm going to have to pay way higher. And these are the same people that may have sold the bottom. So it is pretty crazy times. So 700 days is pretty crazy. Let's see what else we got. It says Brian says you were live when it launched for sure. That's true, Brian. We got Brennan in the house there. 700 days of buying the dips. Indeed, that is true. You've had 700 days of opportunity. Richard is a generous man. He's a generous man there. Yeah. So there's two ways of looking at life, right? A cup half full and a cup half empty. Sorry, and a cup half full. And of course, we like to look at a cup half full on this channel. And that's not to say that we're not realists and factual people, but it's no use even when you get punched in the nose to not fight on, as it say, to not fight on. All right, so there we go. We got 49,000? We've crossed 49,000 validators. So we know the validators have been going up, and that's because Pulse is relatively cheap, and it's a good time to get 32 million Pulse. Just set up your validators and just sit back and earn that Pulse, waiting for the bull market, and then that yield will just go up. Potentially Moon King, maybe 100x, who knows? So I'm certainly very bullish about where it's going to go. Now, the health check, of course, is the bridge. We're sitting at 78.9 million, almost 79 mil. That looks pretty similar to yesterday, if I remember rightly. I'm just trying to remember there, but I think it's pretty similar to yesterday. Probably down a little bit, right? Just down a little bit. We must be at 79.6 were we yesterday. We're sitting around just below 79 million at the moment. Brennan say, I like milk and not soy. Wookie says, I'm not buying until we hit 1,000 days, says Wookie. That's pretty funny. That's actually something we understand, Wookie. Well, you're making sense. All right, so let's jump over to the volumes on the chain and see how they're going. Well, there we go. We got $25.6 million of volume. So volume's definitely picked up a little bit. We were down for about 22 million. I think yesterday we were at about 25 million. So we've definitely picked up a little bit of volume. and here we are. Here we are at the moment, 243,000 transactions on Pulsechain. Now we've got this ranked by the 24 hours. So we've got the top ones here, Voxzilla. This just launched 20 hours ago, and it's done not too bad. I think it's had a little bit of sell off, but let's have a look at this on the 15-minute chart. There's a 15-minute. You can sort of see it's struggling to do anything at the moment, but let's see if it can hold this sort of zone. If it can hold quadruple 8,300, and it might be able to manage to go up there. But the volumes are definitely tapered off there. Let's see if it can hold some support there. That's a Voxzilla there, just launched, and you can check out all the Twitter there. I think a website. I think we've got the website. Let's have a quick look at the website. Don't want to get too stuck on this one, but you can definitely check it out. Oh yeah, they've got a pool inside the Vox Finance farm. So you guys remember we covered this quite fully on the Vox farm there. Looks like Vox is sitting at 15 cents, and that's pretty much where I expected it to go. If you'd been in Discord, I would have been talking about that. Let's see what else. We've got Hex Diamond just launched. This looks probably a pump tires. Wish I had a thing here saying pump tires. That way I wouldn't have to check. But most of the time, if it's below like 3 months or something, it's often generally a pump tires, but not all of them. Let's see here. So let's have a look at this one. This is just launched as Diamond. Now, big shout out to Hex.Diamond, Hex.com Diamond, because he used to be a big watcher of the show and a big supporter. And of course, we covered, to some degree his stuff at the beginning. And it looks like, I don't know if he's actually launched this one, but probably did. And it's been going for 2.5 hours here. And it's doing pretty well, actually, at the moment. This is on the 5-minute chart. So if you look at the hourly, it's only got like 3 hours. So we'll see where that goes. Small little retail play there, but you never know. Could do something special. His products have tended to tinker along. So pretty interesting. All right, so that is Hextime. Now 9mm, the big exchange, our second biggest exchange at the moment in volume. In fact, it's doing how much? It's doing $1.3 million in volume, 12,000 transactions. That is doing well today. And let's see there. That is up 19% the last 24 hours. Let's have a look. We haven't seen a lot of the dexes in front. We've seen 9mm and 9-inch doing well recently, and now we've got 9M pumping there on a couple of volume pumps coming in there. So 10K or so pumping that chart. And the other ones, of course, is Remember. Now we've been covering. If you haven't joined our Telegram, it is open for business. So let me just get the list there, because I have to update the video description with all the links. But we are definitely opening the business there. We're up to 211 members there, and we've only just started it. So I think we're on like day 9 or something. And you can join up to that, and hopefully let's see if we can get the mods to post this over on Rumble and on X, if that'd be great. So this is join Telegram, and that is the link there, and join up today. And of course, if you type in /link, you'll be able to share that around to other people. And we have a free alpha list in there, and it's performing extremely well. So it's been very, very good indeed. So check it out, and we curate that every couple of days. So definitely join up to Telegram. Thanks, Brian, for posting that. I have no idea what you guys are talking about on Rumble, but it's some crazy stuff there about food and things. Right, so that's kind of where we are there. Let's jump back in the mix here. So we got Remember there. So they're going to have a big thing. If you're holding $1 trillion, Remember, that you're going to be getting part of the new product coming up there. If you're not in our strategy club or in the Rumble, if you're not in our strategy club on Discord or in Telegram there, you would have got a copy of that. In fact, I did a full write-up in our strategy club. So if you haven't joined our strategy club, it's in Discord. It's only $35 a month, so really good value, passing intel in there all the time. And I do a monthly update as well, full monthly update. So check that out, and it's $35 a month. Fantastic value. So get on that one. Links in the video description. And that includes the Discord community membership as well. We got Teddy Bear there at the moment. This is the new one, of course, from... it's apparently not created by Moon King, but he's definitely a big supporter behind it. It's up 16% at the moment, and it's doing pretty well. It's trying to replace the old the older Troper Teddy Bear one, and this is performing pretty well, I would say, at the moment. Now, this is a new trading pair. I think this one's a new one. Yeah, 21, but that is not doing too bad. That is the Teddy Bear there. Gas Money has been a boss, isn't it? Gas Money performing extremely well. Man, Gas Money there. In fact, it's been the top of our list and this thing is performing like a boss. This is another printer token from Vesta. So just like Remember token, another printer token, you hold it and you get a pulse, right? You earn pulse, and I love the artwork. I don't know, I just like that. So really cool, little just sort of 1950s kind of style. And look at that rally. Look at that rally in this. Isn't that been amazing? Look at that. Up to 2,800 of a penny. Looks like it's topped out at 3,000. At 3,000, I do have a line. Look at my line here. This line here is pretty crazy. Let me full screen that so you can see. That's the line up there, and that is 3/10 of 3,200. We're at and we hit 3,000, and the RSI a bit overheated here on the 4 hourly, but man, this is amazing. And it's doing, I think it's doing about 6% yield, 6.5% yield per day, dropping to the wallet, maybe something like that, 5.5. I think maybe 5.5% yield to the wallet every day. So you're getting 5% of your capital back based on all the volumes, and so the volumes are sticking up pretty well, so it's going pretty well. What, 350 to 380k a day, and of course that's all feeding the printing of tokens of Pulse to your wallet. Pretty awesome, right? And uptrend's also very friendly. You're getting capital gain as well, so that's looking very good indeed. We've got Hexfader in house there. Good to see Hexfader. Big shout out to you. Looking good there. And who else has jumped in there? Moonshine Mikey. Brian says Moonshine Mikey. And soon to be blind Mikey, says Brian. That's pretty funny, guys. Sure Mikey's laughing at that. All right, so that is doing extremely well. What else is doing up here? We've got BBC token from 9inch, the incentive token there, up 8%. That's just under 1,800th of a penny. Trump token. This is, I'm pretty sure this is it's been around for 2 months. This is a pump tires token. That's up 5.6%. Dominance, another printer token, is up 5% there as well. 9inch, the main DEX. So we actually got a bit of movement today, haven't we? We've got 9mm, which is the second biggest DEX at the moment that we're tracking. This excludes Famous, right? Which I'm not excluding Famous. The fork of balance, I'm not including that because it's not on the list here, but the other DEX is showing. And then, of course, we've also got 9inch as well, number 3. So the DEXs are moving a little bit. That's pretty interesting to me, that both DEXs are moving a bit today. And I think that probably the movement of 9mm is probably a response possibly to the movement of 9inch. I don't know, that's a speculation, but yeah, it's up a little bit there. That's pretty much, they're the leaders at the moment. So we've got a few pump tires, a few printer tokens. We've got a few meme tokens, which, pump tires / meme tokens. And we've got a couple of DEXs. They're kind of leading the way. How about that? That's those 3 categories are leading the way at the moment. Now, we do have some news. So let's bring up the news. I don't have it on the list here, but let's go to soil and let's have a look at Sun Mini Meal. Now, as you guys know, Sun and Mini Meal burned their keys, right? They burned their keys, and we are waiting. That's the daily chart there. They burned their keys, and we are waiting for the mid-April, which is coming up, maybe another sort of 5 days or so. We're waiting for them to start the burning, right? The burning of the token with the sales that Sun and Mini Meal is making, right? 20% of their sales. It's going to be a big deal there. So we've got an update here from Sun and Mini Meal. This is going to be a massive onboarding to Pulsechain, massive. We're talking about corporate scale, where the fiat world meets, or the TradeFi world meets the DeFi world, and pretty exciting stuff there. So just a flashback here. This is what they wrote to Richard Hart, and they said, we have an amazing news for you. We, Sun AG, are launching the first competitive on-ramp to Pulsechain. We're proud to announce our partnership with Banks Official. In the coming weeks, the integration of our company's token Soil will be completed. Here are the key features for our upcoming on-ramp. Fees start as low as 1%. Limits are up to 30,000 euros, 150k euros a month. Decentralized liquidity sourcing powered by Petias. Huge thanks to Petias for making this possible. Getting onto Pulsechain has traditionally been a complex process. Signing up for a centralized exchange, buying ETH, bridging it over, and swapping for Pulsechain assets. We've simplified this into a seamless 5-minute process. This is a massive step forward, and Sun AG is excited to bring this to the entire community. We'll keep you updated. So that is where, with declaration, that was all the way back here on the 10th of March. And here we are, the 10th of April, pretty much, US time. And they had a big meeting here. Of course, last night we kicked off FIBO 2025 with Ralph Moller and friends. And now we're out and about in Cologne to connect, inspire, and spark conversations. Ralph spotted and honored us at Hall 7, booth A50, with over 130,000 visitors. FIBO is the perfect place for Sun to raise awareness about Sun Mini Meal, the world's healthiest, nutritious, complete food, and Soil, Pulsechain, and the digital fuel for our food revolution. We're proud to share our vision for a healthier future and continue to spread the word about our environment there. So pretty awesome stuff there. They got some cool pictures of them out and about. Pretty beautiful little restaurant there, isn't it? Living the dream there. And that looks like the conference that they're at with the 130,000 people with their booth and spreading the word. So this is coming to Pulsechain. This is real world. This is huge corporate. And we're looking forward. They're going to go global, right? They're going to go global. We talked about their presentation that they had on the crypto, and so that was pretty cool. So this is the Sun rewards, right? So very, very cool. They got their rewards with Sol. It's all 20% of the revenue going in this. Really big deal. And you can see all the memberships that they have and how that flows into the product there. So really, really epic. And on the 2nd of April, of course, that was that pivotal point where they started. So 10th of March, of course, they announced the big on-ramp. And then, of course, just here, back on the 2nd of April there, so about 22, 23 days later, they actually give an update about where they're heading. We are proud to announce we officially burned the admin keys of our token, Soil. This marks the final step in the transition towards from Sun Rewards 1.0 to Sun Rewards 2.0. From now on, the token is deflationary. No new supply can ever be minted. So whatever the supply is here is not going to be able to be minted anymore. And that is huge, right? No new supply. And as no entity now holds the privilege to do so. So Sun can no longer mint any more tokens. The updated white paper with Rise Tokenomics will be published soon. Our next steps are in April. And this is the big news, right? This is the really big news here. Launch of Banksa, Pulsechain's first competitive on-ramp. So that's their partnership with Banksa. And, of course, start of a buy and burn program to accelerate Soil's deflation. So these things are massive for Pulsechain and for Soil, right? We're incredibly excited for the month ahead and deeply grateful to the entire community that has supported us. So they're going to onboard a ton of people that know nothing about crypto into crypto. It is a very, very cool process there. Very exciting indeed. So kind of cool. It's going to be really neat. And multi-million-dollar business. It's going to be very exciting to see that grow. And, of course, pretty unique in the world with that offering. Health food that's low calories with all the nutrients and that will help you lose weight. I mean, it's a kind of the Goldilocks zone for food, kind of the holy grail of food from that point of view. So very, very excited there. Now, finally, the other big news we had was around Hex. BankX, of course, was always something that was hanging over the Hex on Ethereum, or eHex as we call it. Well, apparently, Daddy Wick here gave an update that BankX has only 192 million Hex left. I think they started off with 700 million. I think it was. That's what the Godwell, I don't know. Did he accidentally? I don't know. Accidentally sacrificed to BankX. He obviously didn't see the performance on BSC for BankX, and I don't know. It just all looks like a mistake to me rather than something intentional. And here we are, 192 million left. BankX sold today some eHex, 12 million eHex sold since last update on the 27th of February. So the BankX got 192 million out of that 700 million from what I recall. And so, eHex is looking good. I'm actually very bullish on eHex, to be honest. And even with Ethereum sort of lagging in performance, I think one day it's going to definitely do pretty well. So that was a little bit of alpha there around eHex as well. How are we doing for time? 58 minutes. Let's have a quick look. We actually don't have that on here, actually. I was going to have a quick look at the charts there. Now, I do have a poll running at the moment, and you guys get into the poll. So Pulsechain community poll, and let's get into it. So this is the poll here. I'm going to post it in the chat there. And we're doing stuff. So we've started off doing some community polls. Now, MBS is in my team. Wookie's in my team. We're doing a lot of promotional work and trying to make, Pulsechain grow, playing our role doing that. And, it's a win-win for everybody. So it's very, very exciting. If you've got a team that you want to get in, hit them up and say, hey, these guys are doing some great work for teams, and you can either get hit MBS up or hit me up, and we can talk about how we can help them and stuff like that. So we're trying to make it a win-win for everybody, and matching great teams with all the great people in crypto. It's really, really needed right now on Pulsechain. I think everybody can see that. So we're trying to fill that gap as well. All right, so that is the poll. Let me put the poll up here. Bam, there it is there. Maybe the mods can post that also in X and in Rumble. That'd be great. Thank you so much. That is the link there to the poll. Now, we've got the poll is between. So we've got Pulsechain community poll, Battle Royale edition. So Battle Royale. I love that idea. And of course, we've got Ricky token versus X Game versus Dark versus Pump. So the strongest community will win. Vote now. At the moment, with early votes, we've got Ricky out of the park there. So this is Ricky Most Wanted. This was kind of the original coin before Pump Tires came out there. And then that's up at 88.5% at the moment. So the very strong community there from Ricky. Pretty awesome. We've got X Game at the moment, which should be massive. This should be massive. This is like Randy Alaski and Firewell. That's only at 2.3%. I don't know. They're taking their time. You want to get out there. So if you're an X Game's been massive on Pulsechain. And on multi-chain as well. When that game comes out, it's probably very close, within weeks away, with the waiting for the gambling license. That's from obviously Solid X with the Firewall. They're doing that. X Game, they're 2.3% at the moment is on that. So I'm surprised to see that result. They're going to have to definitely get out there if they don't want Ricky to take all the sunlight. Ricky obviously doing very well indeed. Big shout out to the Ricky team there. We got Dark at the moment up 5.4%. Dark there is, we've covered Dark before. The Dark Horse, I love the branding and promotions of Dark Horse. Pretty cool. And great community there. And that's up 5.4%. And Pump at the moment, one of the big, the main token for Pump Tires is up 3.8% at the moment. So they're really struggling. And they've got large communities. So don't know what's going on there. But certainly, I kind of thought that we may get some good responses here. It's early days. We've still got over 2 days left to go. So still quite a bit of time. So get out there and vote and tell your community which one you're on there. So not too bad. Now, I do like something with the Ricky pictures because it's got Richard Hart there. They got them on little like milk carton boxes, and it's like most wanted from Interpol, things like that. So they got a pretty funny meme. It's kind of very meme thing there from Ricky. So big shout out to that. X Game, of course, we can't wait for these X Game Crash Game to come. It's on testnet already. It's had some really good results. It's certainly elevating gaming onto Pulsechain. They're going to have quite a strong referral system there for that as well. Crash is one of the most popular games on like the big casinos in the world, like Betfury, but they're centralized, right? Betfury is fantastic, but it's centralized. It's going to be decentralized. And of course, they're going to add more games. It's going to become more of a full casino suite there. So we're going to have two like major casino areas on Pulsechain. We're going to have Jacob's projects, which we cover all the time. We're also going to have Firewell's projects as well, X Game being the first, and Randy there showing big support there. Now, also Dark, of course, got beautiful visuals. I mean, these guys are crushing it on the Dark Horse there, and certainly coming out of the ashes there. Love that. And then, of course, Pump there is, pretty much the Richard Hart key token there from Pump Tires at the moment. So let's see how that goes with that poll. We'll let you know the results in 2 days' time. But definitely put your vote in. And if you're in those communities, share it around. Don't be shy. And we've had 247 views so far, 131 votes. Let's see if we can get this up into the multi-thousands as well. I'll be reposting stuff out about that today, so get into that one. All right, so that's kind of where we are on the live stream. Not bad. I hope you guys enjoyed the coverage today. It certainly was fun for me. And are you going to see a lot of new rebranding from me? It's coming out, and a big shout out to many community members out there that are helping us to bring the very best AAA sort of movie quality branding. And it's only going to get better from here. And if you haven't subscribed, definitely smash the subscribe button. If you're over on Rumble, hit the follow button, and of course repost. That helps a lot. Leave comments as well, and I'll respond to all those comments. And enjoy. We're going to be covering it all: crypto, politics, economics, society. We do it all, and we enjoy it, and I hope you guys enjoy it too. Until next time, I hope you guys enjoyed the exit. This is my exit video, and big shout out. It's going to be a lot of fun. In fact, I'm going to give a shout out to the actual person that created this. So let's do that. I don't want to miss out on that. So let me just scroll up here and pick up the name. I want to do a big shout out to Ben out there, doing some great work for us as well. Big shout out for that. And, and people doing this stuff for free, right? It's so generous of them. That's what I love about our community. Big shout out to Mr. Onizuka out there for doing this really awesome stuff for us as well. So we've got some wonderful people in the community that, just have a big heart and all part of the Pulsechain ethos. Pretty awesome there. Let's see. We got Wookie as well. Waz for the win, says Wookie. Absolutely. I don't know about that. We got Brennan says thoughts on Trump's remarks on Jerome Super. I didn't see those remarks, Brennan. I didn't see those remarks. I was focused on trade. Ben's in the house, actually. Hey, awesome. I appreciate it, Ben. Big shout out again for all you do. And he doesn't just help my team. He helps a lot of other teams around Pulsechain. So he is actually crushing out there. Big shout out. And does some brilliant stuff. We're talking about top tier stuff. Very clever guy and doing some top end stuff there. So big shout out to Ben. What else? I'm just looking through some of these other comments before we wrap up here. So this is a video that's created by Mr. Onizuka. He's in our crypto show on Telegram, and this is awesome. And we're going to get more of this sort of stuff coming your way, which are pretty cool. So don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit the hottest channel show coming up covering Pulsechain, politics, economics, and society. We are enjoying it, and we're only ramping up now. We're also moving into promotions. Because we want to have a win-win environment on Pulsechain where project teams can get up and running, small, medium, large, and of course the people can get the best value out there as well. So we want more value, less crap in the chain, and it's going to make a much better place for the bull market moving ahead. Hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care, everybody, and bye for now.